Mouse, thank you very, very much. Thank you. Can I, before we start, hey, all the kids, you want to come up here and listen? Come on up here. Come up behind me. Because I'm not holding up between them and the pool, man. Will you shut up, man? Come on. My name's Joe Biden, Vice President Biden, Vice President Biden, Vice President Biden, Vice President Biden. Everybody come on up and stand with me. Clear. I'm not going nuts. The president has a big stick. We choose truth over facts. Check my shape on it. Let's do push-ups together again. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the United States of America, Barack Obama. You can speak out and be more straightforward. I'm not going to be a mule. I got something here. I got to go do boom, boom, boom. Hillary Clinton is as qualified or more qualified than I am to be Vice President of the United States of America. Let's get that straight. And quite frankly, it might have been a better pick than me, but she's first rate. I know I'm called middle class, Joe. It's not meant as a compliment. Means I'm not sophisticated. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. Damn right, man. That's not true. I can get things done. That's why I'm running. You want to check my shape on? Let's do push-ups together again. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. To the word united. To the number 30330. 330 or 303-330 or BOO, wait, you got it, or 303-330 or BOO, wait, you got it, or 303-330 or BOO, wait, you got it, or 303-330 or BOO, wait, or 303-330 or BOO, wait, or 303-330 or BOO, 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 or 303-330. If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much. What's your name? There's okay, Cherry. Look, folks, I want to set the record straight in a couple things.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
You're on television, so be good.
Good evening. This afternoon in this room, from this chair, I testified before the Office of Independent Counsel and the grand jury. I answered their questions truthfully, including questions about my private life, questions no American citizen would ever want to answer. Still, I must take complete responsibility for all my actions, both public and private. And that is why I'm speaking to you tonight. As you know, in a deposition in January, I was asked questions about my relationship with Monica Lewinsky. While my answers were legally accurate, I did not volunteer information. Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong.
And folks, when it's a whole 100 years ago, but I was a senior in high school, and Przicki turned out to be a great athlete at the University of Delaware, but I was runner-up in the state scoring championship here in football. I wasn't bad either. And but I wanted to get more involved, and I realized I lived in a neighborhood where I'd turn on the television, and I'd see and listen to Dr. King and others, but I didn't know any black people. No, I really didn't. You didn't know any white people either. That's the truth. So I wanted to work here. And there's my daughter, Ashley. Come on up here, Ash. And so what I did was I came down and I applied to the city of Wilmington for a job, and I was the only white employee here. And I learned so much. I learned so much. And remember Boom Boom Cannon and a few other guys that worked here as well. And we sit there and we talk, and they'd ask me questions, because I really was the only white guy they really knew. And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did, and back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, "Hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off." Well, he came off, and he said, "I'll meet you outside." My car, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, "I'll be waiting for you." He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. 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 And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Gasoline. I mean, billions of $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-point-something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air.
Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion $1.4 trillion. Out of $1.4 billion, $1.4 billion. It's hard to even say it so much. And by the way, it's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years.
Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you.
Joe, you want to administer the oath?
Am I doing this again? My memory is not as good as Justice Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts does. I was a Democratic caucus. Remember caucus? Oh yeah, you're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. All men and women were created by gold. You know this.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Chuck Graham, state senator's here. Chuck, stand up, Chuck. Let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up, though, pal. Thank you very, very much.
His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although she's great, your mom's still alive. Your dad passed. God bless her soul.
Forbes has officially decreed that Seattle's Bill Gates, with $4.2 billion, is the second richest person in the country. So of course we turned to him, hoping to learn some secrets of his meteoric success.
I used to stay at work till 11 or 12 and then go home and read for a while.
That's 11 or 12 p.m. As he showed me the main Microsoft campus, Bill confessed that he's a workaholic. He puts in hours even on weekends.
You have to understand, when you spend your time thinking intensely about a field, from a very young age, which in my case is, I was 13 or 14 when I started to get involved, that's where you can do great things, is because your mind has really gotten into it. You understand it.
Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes. Now, part of the reason for this is that we have invested a huge amount in nuclear deterrence. But we've actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We're not ready for the next epidemic. So next time we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market. The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be bioterrorism. And so there are things that would literally make things 1,000 times worse. In fact, let's look at a model of a virus spread through the air like the Spanish flu back in 1918. So here's what would happen. It would spread throughout the world very, very quickly. And you can see there's over 30 million people die from that epidemic. So this is a serious problem. We should be concerned.
Joe Biden, wake up. Joe Biden, wake up. Joe Biden, wake up. Joe Biden, wake up. 9/11, today's same day, happened in 2001. This is all be okay, holiday, at George Washington Sun, Texas, USA, 24/7 every day. I'm in USA, Joe Biden. In USA, Joe Biden. 2001 was George W. Bush, didn't make 9/11. It mattered George W. Bush, how Pentagon hit by rocket, and nobody reported. Pentagon was hit by
You know, there are lots of activities going on about this season of the year. The one you'll find uppermost in the minds of most high school students, especially toward the end of any week, is football. And the night before the big game, there's generally a rally.
And Corn Pop was
you don't want to be late. But before you go, remember, you're planning to bring the gang in afterwards. Now you've got the idea. Put plenty of Coke in that refrigerator. Ice-cold Coca-Cola will be a mighty welcome sight when you return.
You would have been able to go to
You know,
school.
it's a good idea to keep plenty of Coke on ice all the time. Coca-Cola has a distinctive flavor, all its own, a flavor that has never been equaled. Coca-Cola is popular with everyone, which makes it ideal when you're expecting guests. Now, that's true whether it's a casual gathering like this one or a planned party.
Yeah, man.
The bright, bracing flavor of Coke is always welcome. It's a flavor that has made Coca-Cola the most asked-for soft drink in the world. Have a Coke.
It seems to me I've heard that song before. It's from an old familiar score. I know it well, that melody.
Joe Biden, wake up.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi today advised former Vice President Joe Biden to keep his distance after two women accused him of touching them inappropriately. Nancy Cordes spoke with congressional Democrats.
It is a big part of who he is, that he hugs people and connects with people and talks to people.
Joe Biden, wake up.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn, that turn, blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
I think we're almost 24 hours away from the inauguration of the 45th President of the United States. Where does he stand in an open society?
Well, I have described him as an imposter and con man and a would-be dictator. But he's only a would-be dictator because I'm confident that the Constitution and the institutions of America, of the United States, are strong enough. And when Trump oversteps the mark, they will fight back. And if they have a bipartisan coalition, they will actually succeed in limiting him. I personally am convinced that he's going to fail, not because of people like me who would like him to fail.
Well, President Obama has lost control of the agenda.
Things are not functioning well, and so people are questioning quite radically the current arrangements, and out of that, hopefully, some serious reforms will emerge.
Now, President Xi Jinping will take a question from a member of the Chinese press. China Daily, please.
谢谢主持人。中国日报记者提问：主席您好，今天您和奥巴马总统再次会谈。
China and the United States are important countries in the world. It's perfectly normal for there to be different views expressed about us in the international media, and I don't think it's worth fussing over these different views. And I don't see any of the regional free trade arrangements as targeting against China. And China protects our citizens' freedom of expression and the normal rights and the interests of media organizations in accordance with law. On the other hand, media outlets need to obey China's laws and regulations.
President Xi Jinping.
Among many qualified people, I'm the best qualified person for this job.
I'm beginning to see why your wife left you.
Why attack Sanders?
Why? You're getting nervous, man.
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it. You know, the rapidly rising, and with I don't know. I just spoke at Dartmouth on healthcare at the medical school, or not. I guess I wasn't actually on the campus, but the people from the medical school were at the. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. I'm not sure whether it was a medical school or where the hell I spoke, but it was on the campus. I propose, and I'm going to digress slightly. We're in a situation. The president asked me to head up a cancer moonshot. Another country and annex a significant portion of it called Crimea. He's saying that it was my boss, it's his fault. Guatemala, El Salvador, and what just went and said in Honduras and said, look, I took on Putin in terms of Iraq. In terms of what was going on in Ukraine. By strengthening, by investing $100 million in education. We can't afford it by just beginning to reward work as much as wealth. If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. Have the shells and 12-gauge shotgun.
Don't jump! Don't jump! Don't jump!
To say that LGBTQ people have no civil rights. No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger. We have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. It will be a big, no, I really mean it. And immediately change the law in the state of Delaware protecting transgender people. We have to eliminate the funding gap that exists between minority white and majority white and non-white districts. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Okay. So, on the issue of race, I couldn't agree more that this is an issue that is still not being talked about truthfully and honestly. And I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden. I believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Let me end by saying, I was a pretty darn good lifeguard. Yeah, man. I taught swimming too. I learned a lot. And I learned that it makes a difference. This was the diving board area, and I was one of the guards, and there was a 3-meter board. And if you fell off sideways, you landed on the darn cement over there. And I remember going over, we used to play the other pools, and we played basketball at lunchtime, remember? We went over to Riverside, we played. And someone on the other team threw the ball to me by accident. And they looked at me and said, "Oh, God, I thought you were on my team." I'm thinking, I'm the only white boy within 20 miles. Remember, I'd get invited down to Baby Grand. I walk in and say, "Who's this guy?" And they say, "He's ours. He's ours." You know the chain, there used to be a chain that went across the deep end. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, "You walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, 'You may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head.'" I said, "You kidding me?" He said, "No, if you don't come back." And he was right. So I walked out with the chain. And I walked up to my car. And they had, in those days, you used to remember the straight razor. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty. And I looked at him, but I was smart then. I said, first of all, I said, when I tell you get off the board, you get off the board, and I'll kick you out again, but I shouldn't have called you Esther Williams. I apologize for that. I apologize, but I didn't know that apology was going to work. He said, "You apologize to me?" I said, "I apologize for that, not for throwing you out, but I apologize for what I said." He said, "Okay," closed the straight razor, and my heart began to beat again. You've always had my back. The neighborhood's always had my back. And God willing, I've always had your back. And I'll always have it as long as I'm around. I love you. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. And if I were still a lifeguard, I'd say, time to get in the pool. 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 Time to get in the pool.
Hey, where's the beat?
Of those people on the front lines. Do you know 80% of all healthcare workers in America are women? And 1 out of 3 jobs held by women in our country has been classified as essential. So this is an issue that affects all of us, young and old, every kind of background from every walk of life. But it is having a disproportionate impact on the front lines, on women working, on women caring for others, on women holding down the home as we go through this
He was the mechanic. And again, I got hairy legs. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I love kids jumping on my lap. Guess what? You're not allowed to own it anyway. I'm not taking your gun away at all. You need 100 rounds and you no. I did not say that. That's not true. I did not say that. It's a viral video like the other ones you're putting out that are saying they're lying.
Well, he just clarified it.
Wait. Take your AR-14s and look at it.
Hold on. And let's keep moving. There's a lot of guys wanted to
I'm not worried.
Thank you so much. And there's a lot of guys out there speaking.
Look, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Are you able to machine gun? I said, are you able to own one? That's right. So AR-15's illegal.
How is that a machine gun?
No, it's not. Yeah, do you need 100 rounds? Do you need 100 rounds?
In America from handguns that are what you call assault rifles. Why are you advocating for assault rifles when people are dying by handguns?
Okay, let's...
No. Come on, listen. Bill, you don't represent like this. No.
I represent my individual mind. Thank you.
You're here representing.
I'm representing me, because I'm a fucking
But he
American.
answered your question and you kept on it.
That's fine. You guys have your own point of view.
Yeah, well, it's right. You're wrong.
Thanks, Joe.
As an example, we could have taken the blood of survivors, processed it, and put that plasma back in people to protect them. But that was never tried. So there was a lot that was missing, and these things are really a global failure. The WHO is funded to monitor epidemics, but not to do these things I talked about.
Thanks, everybody. And Councilwoman, thank you so much for this honor. Thank you. How you guys doing? I'll tell you one more story on the way out. You know what? There was a guy, when I first started, black folks weren't even allowed to vote very easily. Black folks. There
are white folks, right? And they are part of America.
That's how long ago it was. To be sworn in as President and Vice President of the United States. That's progress. We can make more. God love you all. What's your name? I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I love kids jumping on my lap. And by the way, you know, I sit on a stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down. And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
I just got started.
Your time is up, Joe. Corn Pop is a bad dude.
Anyway, my time's up.
It's my time. Kamala Harris, 2024.
Senator Harris, thank you.
Okay, good night.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
I just want to say you are amazing people. This is a great, great country. It is my greatest honor and privilege to have been your president. I will always fight for you. I will be watching, I will be listening, and I will tell you that the future of this country has never been better. I wish the new administration great luck and great success. I think they'll have great success. They have the foundation to do something really spectacular. I want to thank all of the great people of Washington, D.C., all of the people that we worked with to put this miracle together. So, have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.